2 resale World Cup tickets, 1 sold-out host city, 1 hotel room with a queen bed, and 1 straight best friend who suddenly hated the idea of another guy asking for my number. I thought surviving the trip would be hard. Then he held my hand during the penalty shootout and kissed me after the final goal like he had been waiting years to do it. To him, it probably didn't. To me, it was a full cardiac event with witnesses. Summer break had barely started, and both of us had crawled back to our old neighborhood pretending we were fine. Mike had just been cheated on, which meant he was handling heartbreak the very Mike way. Yelling at soccer matches, eating chips like revenge was stored in sodium, and insisting he was totally over it while glaring at every romantic comedy trailer on TV. Me? I had gone on a few dates with a few nice guys. The problem was simple. None of them were Mike. Mike was my best friend. My neighbor. The kid who used to climb over the fence between our houses and kick a soccer ball at my garage door until I came outside. The guy who knew I was gay and never made it weird. Mike was still Mike. Still throwing his arm around me. Still stealing my snacks. Which sounded sweet. It was actually terrible. Because I had been in love with him for longer than I liked admitting. And he had spent just as long calling himself straight with the confidence of a man who had no idea leaning too close on a couch could ruin someone's entire nervous system. So I had rules. Keep my eyes moving. Keep my hopes buried. And never mistake kindness for possibility. That night, we were in Mike's apartment watching a match, surrounded by soda cans, chip crumbs, and summer heat. Mike screamed at the TV when our team missed. He grabbed my shoulder when they got close. And when they finally scored, he yanked me against his side and shouted directly into my ear. I laughed because he was ridiculous. I also forgot how lungs worked because he smelled like laundry detergent, sweat, and cold beer. Then Mike shoved his phone in front of my face. "Thank God," he said, grinning so hard his whole face lit up. "I found resale tickets. Real ones. Verified and everything. Before you start lecturing me." I blinked at the screen. 2 verified World Cup tickets stared back at me. "The match is 2 days from now," Mike said. "The host city's like 8 hours away. We leave tomorrow, stay 2 nights, watch the game, and drive back the morning after. You in?" I should have asked questions. About the price, the drive, the hotel, literally anything. But it was Mike. And it was the World Cup. So I said yes. And somehow, I just agreed to the trip that would ruin every rule I'd ever made. "Wait," I said, once my brain came back online enough to panic responsibly. "How much were those tickets?" Mike made the exact face he always made when he was about to lie badly. "Affordable. Mike. Emotionally affordable. That is not a financial category. It is when you buy World Cup resale tickets 2 days before the match and your bank account starts praying." I stared at him. He shoved a handful of chips into his mouth like that would end the interrogation. It did not. "You blew half your summer savings, didn't you?" He looked offended. First of all, rude. Second of all, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Third of all, yes, probably. I should have scolded him. I should have made him cancel. I should have been a responsible adult or at least a convincing imitation of one. Instead, I grabbed my phone. "Fine. Then I'm paying for the hotel and gas." Mike paused mid-chew. "Ian." "Nope. Don't Ian me. You got the tickets. I'll cover the rest." He leaned back against the couch, one eyebrow lifting in that stupid, dangerous way that made him look like trouble in a hoodie. "You being this generous because of soccer?" he asked. "Or because of me?" I needed a second to remember how normal people breathed. I laughed. It was a normal laugh. "Probably. Because of the tickets, Your Majesty." Mike grinned. "Sure." I threw a chip at him. He caught it in his mouth because apparently God had favorites and one of them was Mike. After I got home, I opened my laptop to book the hotel. That confidence lasted 12 seconds. Every hotel near the stadium was either fully booked, criminally expensive, or described with words like rustic charm, which probably meant there was a raccoon in the wall. Then finally, at 12:47 a.m., one room appeared. Available for a 2-night stay, close enough to the stadium, and expensive enough to hurt without requiring me to sell a kidney. I clicked before the universe could change its mind. Then, because I was exhausted, excited, and apparently allergic to reading details, I booked it without checking the fine print. Instead, I texted Mike, "Hotels booked. Gas is on me. Accept your fate." His reply came almost immediately. "Bossy. I like it." I stared at the message. Then I put my phone face down like it had personally attacked me. The next morning, I checked the confirmation email while brushing my teeth. That was when I saw it. A tiny line near the bottom. 1 queen bed. Couple package included. I nearly swallowed my toothbrush. By the time Mike pulled into my driveway the next morning, I had convinced myself the hotel situation was manageable. Totally manageable. Then he honked twice, leaned across the passenger seat, and pushed the door open for me. "Let's go. Bed booking genius." I froze on the porch. He knew. Of course he knew. I had accidentally sent him the full confirmation email at 2 in the morning because panic made me bad at technology. I slid into the passenger seat with my duffel bag clutched to my chest. It was the last room. Sure. I missed the bed type. Obviously. "I hate you." Mike grinned and pulled away from the curb. Liar. The worst part was that he was right. The drive started normal enough. Mike blasted our old road trip playlist. We sang badly, argued about the starting lineup, stopped for gas, and bought enough snacks to feed a small youth team. For a while it was easy. Familiar. Dangerous in the way familiar things are dangerous when you want them too much. Somewhere around the 3rd hour, I got crumbs all over my jersey. "You eat like a hamster," Mike said. "I'm fueling greatness. You're wearing half the greatness." Before I could swat him away, he reached over and brushed his thumb against the corner of my mouth. Just once. Barely anything. Still enough to make my brain go quiet. A few minutes later, my seatbelt twisted against my shoulder. Mike leaned over at a red light and fixed it for me, his hand warm near my chest, his hair close enough that I could smell his shampoo. I stared straight ahead. "Wow," I said, forcing a laugh. "Caring much? You got a thing for me or something?" Mike didn't blink. "I need to keep you awake so you'll keep talking." "Not strong enough." His mouth curved. "Then I'll increase the dosage." He leaned toward me again. My breath caught. And then, just for a heartbeat, Mike's eyes dropped to my mouth. Maybe I imagined it. Then he flicked my forehead. "Ow. You jerk." He burst out laughing. "See? Perfect dosage." I rubbed my forehead, pretending to be furious. But by sunset, with miles disappearing under us and Mike's hand occasionally brushing mine when he reached for snacks, I realized this trip was already more dangerous than I'd expected. Not because of the distance, because Mike was too close, and we still had one hotel room waiting for us. By the time we reached the city, the whole place looked like it had been possessed by soccer. Flags hung from balconies. People in jerseys spilled out of bars. Car horns blared in patterns that might have been chants or emotional breakdowns with rhythm. Mike rolled down the window at a stoplight and shouted something back at a group of fans. They cheered. Mike cheered. I sank lower in my seat. "Please don't get us adopted by a fan mob before we even check in." He grinned. "You're just mad they liked me. I'm mad you have the survival instincts of a mascot in traffic." The hotel lobby was packed, but we made it to the front desk without Mike befriending an entire nation. The receptionist handed me the key cards with a smile that made me sweat for reasons I did not yet understand. We dragged our bags upstairs. I opened the door, and there it was, the bed. One large, suspiciously romantic bed, exactly as promised by the confirmation email I had avoided thinking about for 8 straight hours. Knowing about it in the car was one thing. Seeing it in person was another. Mike bumped into my back, leaned around me and looked inside. Then he looked at me. "Still feels targeted." By who? The hotel? Fate. Mike. Because of the ticket, I'm choosing peace. He dropped his bag, sat on the bed, ran a hand through his hair, and gave me the most ridiculous smolder I had ever seen. Feels like somebody wanted to be close to all this. My face went hot. You are one joke away from sleeping in the hallway. He laughed, flopping backward. Relax. It's not like we've never slept in the same bed. When we were 12. So back then you didn't look like that. He blinked. Like what? Like a problem. His smile went slow. I immediately regretted having a mouth. Then I saw it on the small desk beside the bed. 2 wrapped chocolates, a cheap little bottle of sparkling cider, a printed card with a stock photo of a couple laughing in matching jerseys. I picked it up. Enjoy your World Cup couples package. Mike read it over my shoulder and lost it. See? He wheezed. Even the hotel thinks we're cute. I wanted to crawl into my duffel bag and mail myself home. Instead, I pointed at the bathroom. I'm showering first. Running from the romance package already? I'm running from you. After we both showered, we ordered fast food and ate by the window, the match tickets lying on the table between our fries. Mike talked strategy like tomorrow was a sacred mission. I nodded, laughed, and tried very hard not to look at the bed, because sooner or later we were going to have to sleep in it. I tried to be normal about the bed. For exactly 7 minutes. Then Mike came out of the bathroom in basketball shorts and an old t-shirt, rubbing a towel through his damp hair, and I immediately abandoned all hope of emotional stability. Okay, I said, standing too fast from the chair. I'll sleep on the floor. Mike paused. What? The floor? I pointed down as if he might be unfamiliar with the concept. Very flat, very supportive, great for the spine. Probably. He stared at me, then at the floor, then back at me. You're insane. I'm generous. You paid for the room. And now I'm generously giving you the bed. Mike threw the towel at my face. I caught it badly and almost knocked over a lamp. Dude, he said, the bed is huge. Sleep up here, unless you want to walk into the stadium tomorrow like a retired grandpa with back problems. I'll be fine. You'll be dramatic. Those are different things. With you? Barely. I hated how easily he said that. Like he knew me. Like he had a map of every ridiculous corner of my personality and somehow still wanted me around. Mike walked to the bed, grabbed half the pillows, and dumped them down the center like he was building a fortress. There, he said. Defense line. I looked at the pillows, then at him. That better be stronger than our team's back line. Mike made a wounded noise. Uncalled for. Accurate, though. He grinned. And for a second, the tight knot in my chest loosened. This was fine. We were fine. Just 2 best friends in a hotel room with 1 bed, a romantic getaway card, and my mental health hanging by dental floss. Completely fine. We turned off the lights a little after midnight. The city was still alive outside, muffled cheers rising from the street below every few minutes. Mike fell asleep almost immediately because of course he did. Mike could sleep through a fire alarm, a breakup, and probably a minor earthquake if he was comfortable enough. I meanwhile lay on my side like a corpse with anxiety. The pillow wall sat between us. A border, a warning, a joke that suddenly felt like the only thing keeping my heart from doing something stupid. I listened to Mike breathe. Slow. Even. Too close. I told myself not to turn around. So naturally, all I wanted to do was turn around. I wanted to see if his hair was still messy from the shower. If his mouth was slightly open the way it got when he was really asleep. If the moonlight from the curtains touched his face. That was the problem. With Mike, even wanting less still felt like wanting too much. Then the mattress shifted. 1 pillow slid down, then another. Before I could react, Mike rolled toward me in his sleep, crossed the ruined border, and threw an arm over my waist. My entire body forgot its job. His chest was warm against my back. His hand rested low on my stomach, heavy and careless and impossibly gentle. His breath brushed the back of my neck. Then his thumb moved, barely. A small, sleepy brush against my shirt. Could have been nothing. A dream. a muscle twitch, some cruel little accident designed by the universe to ruin me personally. But Mike sighed against my neck like he was comfortable there. Like some part of him had chosen this, even if the rest of him wasn't awake enough to admit it. I went completely still. Even breathing felt risky. Blinking felt ambitious. Because this was the kind of thing I had imagined too many times and hated myself for wanting. And now it was real. Accidental, maybe, but real. I stared into the dark, heart hammering, while Mike slept peacefully behind me like he hadn't just destroyed every rule I'd made to survive loving him. The worst part? I didn't want him to let go. Morning arrived with sunlight, stadium chants from somewhere outside, and Mike's arms still around me. So that was fine. Completely fine. I woke up staring at the wall, stiff as a plank, while Mike breathed against the back of my neck like he hadn't turned my entire body into a hostage situation overnight. His hand had slipped a little higher, resting over my ribs, warm through my t-shirt. For one dangerous second, I let myself stay there. Then Mike made a sleepy sound and tightened his arm. I froze. I carefully peeled myself out from under him like I was defusing a bomb. Mike grumbled into the pillow. "Where are you going?" "To brush my teeth." "Rude. You'll survive." He opened one eye, hair wrecked, voice rough with sleep. "You nervous for the game?" I stared at him. "Yes, Mike, for the game." That was definitely the only thing ruining my blood pressure. "A little," I said. He smiled, soft and lazy. "Good. Means it matters." I hated him, affectionately. An hour later, we were walking toward the stadium in our jerseys, surrounded by thousands of fans, food trucks, face paint, flags, and people yelling chants like they'd been born doing it. Mike was practically vibrating with excitement. He bought us overpriced hot dogs, nearly lost his ticket twice, and high-fived 3 strangers before we even found our section. "This is insane," he said, looking around. I looked at him instead. "Yeah," I said. "It is." The match started like a storm. Every pass made the crowd rise. Every missed shot had Mike clutching his head like he'd been personally betrayed. When our team finally scored, the stadium exploded. Mike grabbed me. Not a casual shoulder bump. Not a friendly slap on the back. He wrapped both arms around me, lifted me off my feet, and spun me around while yelling so loud I felt it in my bones. His face pressed into the side of my neck for half a second, laughing and breathless and alive. I laughed too. Then my eyes burned, stupidly. Because for 1 second, with his arms around me and his laugh against my neck, wanting him didn't feel impossible. At halftime, while Mike went to grab drinks, a guy beside me leaned over with an easy smile. He was cute, maybe our age, with a tiny pride bracelet on one wrist and the kind of confidence I had never possessed in my life. "Your boyfriend's intense," he said. I nearly choked on air. "He's not my boyfriend." His smile widened. "Good to know." Oh no. By the time Mike came back with 2 sodas and nachos balanced like a man attempting circus work, the guy was asking my major, my school, and whether I lived nearby. Mike's gaze flicked to the bracelet on his wrist. Then to the way he was leaning toward me. Then to me. His smile faded. "Not much, but enough." "Hey," Mike said, setting the sodas down. "What did I miss?" "Nothing," I said too fast. The guy smiled. "I was just asking Ian for his number." Mike went very still. That was worse than if he'd snapped. Then he sat down beside me, closer than before, his shoulder pressing into mine, his arm sliding along the back of my seat like it belonged there. Like I belonged there. The guy looked at Mike, then at me, then back at Mike. Mike's voice came out calm. Too calm. "He came here with me." Silence. The words landed between us harder than they should have. I turned to him. "Mike." For half a second, he looked like he might double down. Then something in his face shifted, like he'd hurt himself. He looked away. "I mean," he said, quieter, "you can give him your number if you want." The guy raised both hands, smiling like he had better survival instincts than both of us. "You know what? I think I just got my answer. What answer? I asked, because apparently I had chosen death by cluelessness. He laughed. Good luck, Ian. Then he disappeared into the crowd. I turned to Mike. What was that? Mike stared at the field like the grass had personally offended him. What was what? You just sounded jealous. I wasn't jealous. Mike! His jaw tightened. Then his voice dropped. I hated it. For a second, I forgot the crowd existed. The second half started before either of us could pretend that sentence had not just happened. After that, everything shifted. Mike stayed close. Too close. His knee kept bumping mine. His arm returned to the back of my seat. Once, when the crowd surged after a near goal, his hand caught my wrist and held it a beat too long. I told myself not to read into it. I read into it like it was required coursework. Then the match went to penalties. The whole stadium changed. The noise didn't disappear exactly, but it pulled tight, like thousands of people were holding the same breath. My stomach twisted itself into modern art. I hate this, I muttered. Mike glanced down. Your hand's shaking. It's called passion. It's called you're about to pass out. I am a strong and stable fan. You once cried when our team traded their backup goalie. He had kind eyes. Mike huffed a laugh. Then he took my hand. No warning. No joke. Just his fingers sliding around mine, warm and steady, like it was the most natural thing in the world. I stared down at our hands. First, I thought it was instinct, comfort, best friend stuff, Mike being Mike. Then his fingers moved. They slipped between mine, interlocked, held. The noise in my head cut out. I looked at him, but Mike kept his eyes on the field. His face was tense, jaw set, shoulders rigid. Only his hand gave him away, because he was holding on like he needed it too. The final kick came. The player ran. The ball flew. For 1 second, the world stopped. Then the net snapped. Goal. The stadium detonated. People screamed. Strangers hugged. Beer went flying somewhere behind us. Confetti burst into the air like the sky had cracked open. I turned to Mike, laughing, breathless, ready to say something stupid and happy. I never got the chance. Mike was already looking at me, not at the field, not at the scoreboard. Me. His eyes were wide and bright, and for one impossible second, he looked like he was asking a question he didn't know how to say. Then Mike grabbed my face with both hands and kissed me, not on the cheek, not by accident. His mouth covered mine, warm and firm and shaking just enough to make my knees forget their purpose. The roar of the stadium vanished. My hands caught the front of his jersey. For 3 seconds or 5 or forever, there was no crowd, no field, no rules. Just Mike, kissing me like he had finally run out of ways to pretend. Then he pulled back. His eyes widened. Mine did too. And for the first time all day, Mike looked terrified. Mike didn't say anything after the kiss. Neither did I. For a few seconds, we just stood there while the stadium celebrated around us. His hands hovering close to my face, like he was afraid one more move would make the whole thing real. Too late. It was already real. His mouth was still red. His breathing was uneven. Mine was worse. Ian, he said. Just my name. Nothing else. But the way he said it made my chest hurt. I opened my mouth. No sound came out. So we did what 2 emotionally competent adults would never do. We walked back to the hotel in silence. The heavy kind. The kind where every step asked a question neither of us knew how to answer. Mike kept looking at me, then away. Once, his hand brushed mine near the crosswalk, and we both pulled back like touching had become dangerous. By the time we reached the room, my nerves were so tight I could barely get the key card into the door. It flashed red. Of course it did. Mike reached around me, took it gently from my hand, and tried again. Green light. The door opened, and the second we stepped inside, I panicked. I'm gonna shower, I said too fast. Mike closed the door behind us. Ian. My hand froze on the bathroom knob. His voice was low, careful. You're avoiding me. I laughed, and it came out terrible. No, I'm sweaty. There's a difference. Because of the kiss? My chest tightened. Mike swallowed. I'm sorry. That did it. Those two words cracked something open in me so fast I almost hated him for it. I turned around. Apologizing makes it sound like it meant nothing. His face changed. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? My voice shook, which was rude of it. Because you've always called yourself straight, Mike. And I refuse to be your post-breakup confusion or your World Cup adrenaline mistake or whatever the hell that was. He stared at me like I'd hit him. Ian. No, just... Let me say it before I lose my nerve. I pressed a hand to my chest like that might keep my heart in place. I've spent years pretending I don't look at you too long. Years laughing when it hurt. Years telling myself not to hope. Because hoping for you was the easiest way to break my own heart. Mike went still. Too still. Then he whispered, "You've liked me that long?" I looked away. Unfortunately for my dignity, yes. Silence stretched between us. Then Mike took one step closer. Do you remember when you told me you were gay? My throat tightened. Yeah, I thought you were going to leave. I was mad. I blinked. Mad. Not because you were gay. He rubbed a hand over his face, frustrated with himself. Because you'd been carrying that alone. Because I didn't know. And because some stupid, ugly part of me hated the idea that someday you'd look at another guy the way I wanted you to look at me. I forgot how to breathe. Mike's laugh was shaky. I thought straight was the easiest word for me, he said quietly. Maybe because I never had to question it. Maybe because questioning it meant admitting the person I wanted most was my best friend. His voice cracked on the last word, and he looked away like that embarrassed him more than the kiss had. And after what happened with my ex, I didn't trust myself. I kept thinking maybe I only wanted you because you were safe, because you were there, because you were the one person who never made me feel stupid for falling apart. He swallowed. But then I realized that was the lie. You weren't the person I wanted because I was hurt. You were the person I kept running to every time I was hurt. He let out a shaky laugh and dragged a hand through his hair. It wasn't that every girl was wrong. They weren't. Some of them were great. But every time I tried dating someone, I compared them to you. Every conversation, every laugh, every stupid inside joke that didn't feel as good with anyone else. His eyes found mine again. And today, when that guy asked for your number, I wanted to pull you behind me like an idiot. Mike! He stepped closer again. And when I held your hand, the whole stadium disappeared. When we won, the first person I wanted to look at wasn't any player on that field. His eyes met mine. It was you. My eyes burned. This isn't funny. I know. You're not allowed to ruin me and then change your mind tomorrow. I won't. How do I know? Mike's gaze dropped to my mouth, then back to my eyes. Let me prove it. My breath caught, but I put a hand on his chest before he could move closer. Only if you're sure this is for me too. That stopped him. For the first time all night, Mike looked genuinely scared. Then he nodded once. Okay, he whispered. Then I'll say it first. He took a shaky breath. I want you, Ian. I'm scared, and I'm confused, and I probably have a lot to figure out. But none of that changes the part I'm sure about. His hand covered mine against his chest. I want you. Only then did I whisper, okay. He kissed me like an answer. Slower this time. Softer. No crowd. No excuse. Just Mike's hands trembling against my face and my fingers gripping his shirt like I'd fall apart without him. When he finally pulled back, he didn't step away. His hands stayed at the side of my neck, warm and trembling, while his eyes searched mine like he was waiting for permission to keep being honest. I'm not using you to figure myself out, he whispered. That part is mine to handle. I just know I want you. For real. Beyond tonight. Beyond the match. Beyond whatever scared me before. His thumb brushed my cheek. You, Ian. My laugh broke halfway into tears. You're so stupid. Probably. You're also really bad at asking romantic questions. Mike breathed out a shaky laugh. Then let me fix that. He pulled back just enough to look at me properly. Let me take you on a real date when we get home, he said, as someone who wants to do this right. No hiding behind best friend excuses. No blaming the soccer match. My chest hurt in the best way. And after that? Mike smiled, nervous and hopeful. After that, if you still want me, I'm asking you to be my boyfriend properly. I laughed, and it came out dangerously close to a sob. Mike, I've wanted you for years. You can ask now. His eyes softened. Then be my boyfriend, Ian. It's the easiest yes of my life. Mike smiled like sunrise, and when he kissed me again, I finally stopped pretending I wanted distance. That night was long. Not in a wild, messy way. In a quiet way. In the way two people stay awake because sleep feels too small for what just changed. The pillow fortress Mike had built finally came down. For the first time in years, I didn't have to turn my back to him and pretend it meant nothing. I didn't have to count the space between us like it was the only thing keeping me safe. Mike held me close, careful, and warm. We talked in whispers, laughed at the wrong moments, kissed like we were still learning how to believe it, and went quiet whenever the feeling got too big. And somehow, sleeping beside the love of my life no longer felt like a crime scene. Felt like coming home. Morning hit us like a personal attack. Brutal, unromantic, deeply unnecessary. Direct sunlight blasted through the hotel curtains. My phone alarm screamed from somewhere under a pillow, and Mike made a noise beside me like a wounded animal. I cracked one eye open, then saw the time. Oh my God! Mike's arm tightened around my waist. No, Mike, check out. No, we have 20 minutes. That finally worked. He shot upright so fast the blanket slid off his shoulder, hair sticking up in every possible direction, eyes wide with pure athletic panic. 20, maybe 19 if the elevator hates us. We moved like disaster had choreography. I tripped over my jeans. Mike put his shirt on backward. I brushed my teeth while trying to find my socks. He found one of them inside the sheets and held it up like he'd solved a mystery. Rough night, he teased. I almost choked on toothpaste. Do not start. His grin softened as he looked at me from across the room. Not smug, not joking this time. Happy, really happy. And that was somehow worse for my heart than everything we'd done in the dark. Whispered and careful and warm, with no more pretending between us. By some miracle, we made it downstairs only 3 minutes after checkout. The receptionist looked up with the same polite smile from check-in. The one that knew too much. The one I now feared personally. Good morning, she said, taking the key cards. I hope you two had a wonderful stay. My face went hot instantly. Normal question. Normal hotel employee. Absolutely not a normal effect on my nervous system. Mike, traitor that he was, smiled like he had just won another match. It was great, he said. Everything was perfect. I kicked his ankle. He didn't even flinch. The receptionist's smile widened by exactly 1 millimeter. We're glad to hear that. Safe travels. I dragged my bag toward the exit while Mike laughed quietly behind me. Outside, the city was still buzzing from the wind. People in jerseys walked past carrying coffee. Flags hung from car windows, and somewhere down the street a group of fans was already chanting like sleep was a myth. Mike unlocked the car, then hurried around to open the passenger door for me. I stopped. He leaned against it, ridiculous and bright-eyed, with his hair still a mess and his smile too big for his face. After you, he said. Boyfriend. My chest did something embarrassing. You're enjoying that word way too much. Yeah, he said. I am. Then his grin softened. But only because it's you. I got in before my face could betray me further. A few minutes later, we were back on the highway, the stadium shrinking behind us, the morning sun stretching gold across the road. For once, neither of us rushed to fill the silence. It wasn't awkward. It was new. Mike kept one hand on the wheel. The other rested near the gear shift, palm open. Waiting. My throat tightened. I looked at his hand, then at him. He kept his eyes on the road, but his ears were red. God, I loved him, so I placed my hand in his. His fingers closed around mine immediately. Steady, certain, real. I leaned back against the seat and watched the city fade into the rearview mirror. By the time we reached our old neighborhood, the fence between our houses looked smaller than it ever had. Maybe because, for once, there was nothing left between us. I had left home with my best friend to see the match of a lifetime. I came back holding the hand of the love of my life.